Okay, so we're picking up in section 7.2 where we left off in the last video. So we're just going to finish up these last four problems that deal with the properties of exponents and involve rational exponents. So in exercise 19 right here, if you are following along and you're working the problem, then I would just recommend you please push pause on the video right now. Give the problem a try and then press play and you'll see me do it. So giving you a couple moments of silence to push pause. Here goes what this problem looks like. First, I've got these parentheses. So I'm going to apply the power rule. I've got all of these things raised to a power. So the first thing is I'm going to raise everything to that negative 2/3 power. So it's just multiplying. So I've got x to the 4 times negative 2/3. So I've got 4 over 1 times negative 2 over 3. So 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 1 times 3 is 3. So I start with an x to the negative 8/3 power, and we are off and running right now. Then I've got a y, and I've got negative 6 and negative 2/3. So that's negative 6 over 1 times negative 2 over 3. So negative 6 times negative 2 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I've got y to the 4th power. Denominator, the same sort of thing happens. I've got negative 2/3 times negative 2. So when I go ahead and I do that multiplication, I've got negative 2 times negative 2/3. A negative times a negative is going to be positive. And then 2 times 2/3, 2 times 2 is 4 over 3. And you can write that out if you want, but I've shown you how to do that right here. And then lastly, I've got y to the 3rd times negative 2/3. So positive times negative is going to be a negative. And then 3 times 2 is 6. Divided by 3 is 2. So that's what we've got. And then one more step, I've got to do the quotient rule twice on this problem. So I've got negative 8/3 minus 4/3. They've got a common denominator. I'm not going to write this down. If you need to write it down, that's great. So what I've got is x to the negative 8 minus 4. That is negative 12/3. And we'll reduce that in just a moment. And then I've got y to the 4 minus negative 2. Well, when you subtract the negative, 4 minus negative 2 is 4 plus 2 or 6. One more step, we're done with the problem. So that y to the 6th is going to stay up top. The x to the negative exponent, that's going to go to the bottom. And then 12 divided by 3 is 4. And I have y to the 6th over x to the 4th. That is the first of the problems. Now, what I want you to do, please, is exercise 20 is kind of the same thing. Just one purpose for this problem is that coefficient of 9 in there and what to do with that. So push pause on the video and go ahead and give this problem a try. Welcome back. So here we go. I'm raising everything to the negative 1/2 power. And if you remember long ago when we talked about the section in chapter 4 on negative exponents, I made a big conundrum about this back then. Don't forget when you have a coefficient that this 9 has a little exponent of 1 on it. And so you also have to raise this to the negative 1/2 power. That's the most common mistake on a problem like this, is forgetting to do that. So what we have here is 9. And 1 times negative 1/2 is negative 1/2. Then I've got a, and again, you can write these down on your scrap work if you need to. Okay, I've done plenty of that showing you how to set up your fractions. So I've got 2 times negative 1/2. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 over 2. Then I've got b to the negative 4 to the negative 1/2. So a negative times a negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4 over the 2. In the denominator of this, I've got a to the negative 2 to negative 1/2. So a negative times a negative, again, is a positive. And then 2 times 1 is 2 over 2. And finally, b to the 8th raised to the negative 1/2. A positive times a negative is a negative. 8 times 1 is 8 over 2. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little simplifying here. I'm going to take care of those exponents. So first thing I'm going to do is I've got that 9 to the negative 1/2. I'm going to put it down in the bottom and become 9 to the positive 1/2. The a to the negative 2 over 2 is a to the negative 1. B to the 4 over 2 is b to the 2nd. A to the 2 over 2 is a to the 1st down in the bottom. And then b to the negative 8 over 2 is b to the negative 4th. And here we go. We are now ready to go ahead and finish this problem. 9 to the 1/2 power, that's the square root of 9, so that's 3. I've got a to the -1 divided by a to the first. -1 minus 1 is a to the -2. And then b to the second minus second minus -4, minus a negative is plus, so 2 plus 4 is b to the 6th. And then one more thing to do. Sorry, I got a little messy there, so I'm going to go downward. This turned out to be a negative exponent, so we will put that a to the second in the denominator. The b to the 6th will stay in the numerator. If you have any questions, you can email me. As always, we've got 2 more problems. This second to last problem, this is a simple distribution problem. Just wanted to throw one of those in here. That gives you the opportunity to apply the product rule twice. So go ahead and push pause on the video and give this a try and see how you do. All right, so welcome back. I'm assuming you're pushed play. That's how you're hearing my voice. So this is something outside of parentheses, and I've got this difference inside. So this is a distribution problem. So I'm going to take this x to the 3/4, and I'm going to multiply it by x to the 5/4. Then I'm going to take the x to the 3/4, and I'm going to multiply it by the x to the 1/4. So it's the product rule 2 times. So remember, product rule means you add the exponents. So when I multiply x to the 3/4 times x to the 5/4, that's x to the 3 plus 5 or 8/4 minus, and then when I multiply the x to the 3/4 times the x to the 1/4, that's x to the 3 plus 1 or 4/4. When I reduce those fractions, 8 over 4 becomes x squared. 4 over 4 becomes x to the first. Those are not like terms, so that problem is finished and completed. One more to go on this worksheet, and then you can get going on all your section 7.2 homework and take that quiz. Exercise 22, go ahead and do this. This is involving some product rule and some quotient rule. All right, so I'm assuming you pushed pause. You gave this a good try. If you haven't, push pause now, because I'm getting ready to do the problem. So here goes. So I'm going to go ahead. I mean, you have options on this. I'm going to go ahead and just do the product rule on the top first, and then I'll worry about this quotient. So I'm going to combine all of those p's. So I've got to add 1/5 plus 7/10 plus 1/2. So the common denominator there is 10 among those 3 fractions. 5 times 2 gives me 10, so 1 times 2 is 2 over 10. This fraction already has the common denominator, so it remains 7 over 10. And then 2 times 5 is 10, so 1 times 5 is 5 over 10. So what I get in the numerator when I add up all of those is 2 plus 7, that's 9, plus 5, that is 14 over 10. I'm going to leave it unreduced for the moment. Now I've got a quotient rule problem, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract those 2 numbers. So I've got 14 over 10 minus 5 over 2. Again, the common denominator is 10. This first fraction already has the common denominator, so I'm going to leave it 14 over 10. This next one, 2 times 5 is 10, so 5 times 5 is 25 over 10. So when I do that subtraction, what I end up with is 14 minus 25, or negative 11 over 10. Got that negative exponent, so don't forget, it's considered simplified when you resolve the negative exponent. So it's 1 over p to the 11/10. So there you go. There's several problems reviewing how to work with negative exponents and the properties. So go ahead and practice that. That's probably, in my opinion, the most difficult thing in this unit, and I want you all to do amazing. So good luck, and I will see you soon.